But today, I'm sitting here watching the news, going through, sorry folks, try to move my table here so I can be closer. And anyways, I watch the news. You know what I like to do? I like to be there in the morning at these news stations. Hi, Miss D. Atkinson. How are you? I like to be in the producers and listen in when the producer are giving these pundits instructions in the morning on what to say. Thank you. I'm glad you're doing well, man. Okay? Great to see you. Uh, like I started at the beginning, I normally don't come on at this time. I did a show earlier about Diddy, and I gotta be honest with you, I'm getting burned out about Diddy. And look at whether he gets time served or he gets 20 years. It's not going to change my life. And it's not going to change your life. We all know what he should get. He should get the 20 years. Okay? But, it is what it is. And the person that Diddy should blame, because this morning I read what the U.S. Attorney wrote and showed over 50 cases of the Mann Act where they got 10 years. Because the Mann Act holds 10 years sentencing. And Congress didn't pass that bill as a no-burger, like Mark Gargos wants to say, okay? But they got the Mann Act and they got 10 years because of violence. And that's what's going to hurt Diddy. And Diddy's lawyers hurt him the most. I said this from the beginning. I stand by my word. Because they began stating that their client was a very violent person. They did it. Not me, not you. His lawyers did that. Any good lawyer would never use that defending their client. Any prominent lawyer. Okay? Hey, we got somebody from Belgium. How are you, buddy? How you doing? Crazy Ish, you're back here. Crazy Chris, how you doing? All right? Thank you for coming. All right? Matthew, everybody coming here. Thank you, folks. I really appreciate you coming. All right? Shelby Hill donated 1999, but where? I don't see it. Okay, you gotta hit that thanks button. Okay? All right, unless you send it to my PayPal or, there is a thanks button, folks. If you want to help me out, I appreciate it. I did the live show that this morning was on for an hour. Guess how much YouTube paid me? $1.46. Yeah, $1.46. I'm not joking. So, I don't make a lot of money here on YouTube. And the money I do make comes from you folks. But, are you seriously, are you burned down like I am about Diddy? Now, this is one of the biggest cases we've had in history. But everybody wants to talk to it. Talk about Diddy. Hi, Roger. Got a lot of good people here today. Thank you for joining me, folks. And, as usual, if you like what I'm saying, give me a thumbs up. If you don't like what I'm saying, give me a thumbs down. Okay? And please subscribe. Okay? I get tired. But Diddy's law, Jay Clayton, who is now the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York, he's not playing games. All right? He's looking for the maximum sentence he can get on Diddy. And of course, his lawyers rebutted. I'm not going to read all these papers. I did it this morning. If you want to go back and watch the show that I did earlier today, and you'll could hear me reading it, but I'm telling you in a nutshell what it says. I'm not one of these guys that come out here, show you what other people say. Now, I did listen a little bit with Tisa Tell, and she's saying that the prosecutors are asking for 8 years. Now, I read the same identical papers as her. There is no mention of Jay Clinton asking for give Diddy 8 years. So I don't know where she got that from, folks. Okay? I gotta be honest with you. But, you know, Donald Trump has cleaned up the streets of Washington, D.C. How long will that last? Will the, you know, you can't keep the National Guard there forever. All right? So eventually the Boston police are going to be able, the Washington police are going to have to be able to do that by themselves. Now he wants to go into Chicago, which is a great idea. You know, we got a lot of cities that are crime riddled. I just read something, because I read, I got different apps where I read the news and I read a lot of local news of what's going on here in, in Los Angeles. And what do I want to become when I grow up? Good question. When I find out, I'll let you know, okay? Thank you for that there. Yeah. I hear Chicago is really horrible, okay? And it's been on the news for a long time. And and their governor and their mayors don't want to do a damn thing about it. And I don't understand why. They should welcome the fact that Trump wants to come there and help them. I wish he'd come into Los Angeles and do something here. Because what I read today with what's going on with our children, all right, what people are doing to our children, underage kids, is so horrific. I can't begin to tell you. But it's on the news. You can see it, you can hear it, what they're doing. There's certain words I can't say here on YouTube, so I can't tell you exactly. I don't know what I can say no more. Okay? But I try to do my best here, so bear with me. Uh, but anyways, that's what Trump is trying to do. Uh, is Lindy here? Who's there? Somebody holding a message for you. Thank you. Must be YouTube. Okay? Uh, YouTube is right on top. People leaving bad comments. I don't know if you folks were here, but I was threatened by Diddy's people a couple of days ago, and they were trying to get my address, and they were posting different addresses, some of them of which I lived at one time. Okay, but they didn't have my right address. But YouTube, thank God, they're right on it. That's not allowed. So, folks, I come here, I'm very respectful, and please be respectful back. Okay, if you don't like what I'm saying, you can leave. It's as simple as that. Okay? Alright? There's somebody, Victor, Diddy's a saint. Okay, he's your saint, not mine, and he's not the general population's. Okay, Victor? So get that out of your head. Uh, but anyways, I wanted to share that with you. And but I want to talk about the war on drugs. Now Trump is going in, he's taking out a lot of the cartels, took out a drug ship out of Venezuela. Okay. Now this drug war goes back to Richard Nixon. Ronald and Nancy tried to do it, and their thing was say no to drugs. Folks, it doesn't matter how many cartels Trump takes down. Every guy he gets, there's 100 right behind that guy, ready to take over. It's not stopping the drugs from coming in, because they're going to come in as long as there's a demand. It's simple business, okay? There's supply and demand. Drugs are terrible. They destroy you. They will kill you. They will unalive you, okay? And I know from personal experience, it doesn't make a difference you come from money or you got no money. If you're on drugs, eventually the drugs are going to take over. I had a girlfriend of 12 years that I thought I was going to be the hero. I was going to be the one, all right, to change her out, okay? I was going to be the one to save her. I had her in 17 recovery homes. She came from one of the wealthiest families in Los Angeles. Before me, her parents had her in recovery home. I had her in 17. Any idea how much money that cost me? You had no idea, folks. It was an awful lot of money, okay? And finally, after 12 years, I woke up. I spoke to one of the best uh, doctors in the country. And he told me, Mr. Spado, and I told him everything about her. All right, so she was on alcohol, and she was on codeine and Furanyl, okay? And she was taking 30, 40 a day ago. She was writing. She was writing her own prescription. That she would go to the doctor to steal a prescription pad. And she would be able to pick up the phone, call the pharmacy. I mean, she got them in everybody's name, or she just make up names. And she got caught a few times. She got thrown in jail for it. And, you think that when they're in jail, do you think they're going to clean up? You put them in jail for 6 months. You know the first thing they're going to do when they come out? The first thing. Before they go home to their mother, their father, their husband, girlfriend, or whatever, the first thing they're going to do is go out and get those drugs. So, eventually, she passed away of an overdose on the streets of Palm Springs, California, with a bottle of vodka, bottle like in the bottle, like a ritual around their body. So until you stop the demand, there will always be a supply. But that's a big thing. They talk about they're going to do this, they're going to do that there. You know, and here we are, we're listening to our politicians. A lot of us believe them. I don't believe a word that comes out of any of their mouth. I gotta be honest with you. Okay? Uh, well, what would I say about the drug business today? It's a good business because the demand is there. And it's not going to end. Okay? Cyber told me you're having a bad day. Join the club. You won't believe something that happened to me today. I'm not going to get into it. But sometimes you try to do a favor for somebody and they don't tell you the whole truth, okay? And you try to do a friend for a favor and then it works backwards and it comes back to me, you know? Rose, that, I don't know why you say you're freezing up. I'm not a tech guy, so I'm not the one to ask there. Uh, but a lot of times, you people don't realize it. You might not be subscribed into your own uh, YouTube channel, all right, or be yeah, you got to sign in to your own YouTube channel. Okay, you must do that there. Huh? I'm great there, my friend. No, no, all young age. Crazy Chris, you're absolutely correct. You're talking about his two daughters from Kim Porter, okay? And what happened to Kim Porter? We don't know the truth. Will we ever know the truth? Is the U.S. Attorney's Office investigating that? Are they investigating Tupac? Is there somebody that really knows what happened? Uh, oh. Is there anybody who really knows what happened to Tupac on that day in Las Vegas? Somebody must know. We either paid an awful lot of money and living out of the country someplace. I don't know. Huh. Uh, Lisa Peters wants to send me $2 on Super Chat, but the dollar sign won't show other amounts. Uh, my dear, I think the $1.99 is the first one that comes up, because I've done it before. Sometimes people tell me you got double tap your screen. I don't know. I'm the furthest thing from anything technology. Trust me. Okay? Uh, but folks, anything you can do, hit that super check. I appreciate it. Y'all know that I got a book. All right? Thank you, Lisa. I hope you can. All right? Also in my profile, you'll see my PayPal, Venmo, Cash App. So those are other ways you're able to send money too. All right. A lot of people say that, and I had my son investigated with a friend who was sitting right next to me one day, and he said, "Ori, I don't have the button." I looked at his phone; he didn't have the button, and the reason was he wasn't signed into his own YouTube. So sometimes you got to sign into your own YouTube. I don't know, folks. Go figure. I had no idea how it works. All right. Uh, okay, Lisa, you can send any amount you want there. Okay, yes. I appreciate it. All right. Uh, and folks, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Help me in any way you can. If you hit that like button or if you hit the thumbs down button. Okay? Do what you want to do. But you got a lot there, Lisa. $10. Thank you, Lisa. You did it. God bless you. Thank you so much, Lisa Peters. All right? I appreciate that there. All my love and respect to you. Um, yeah. Yeah. YouTube takes 30% of the money I get. Oh, there's $8.99. Oh, that's awesome. Thank you so much. Okay. I appreciate that. CC, God bless you. All my love and respect to you. Okay? I appreciate it. I could hit a like button there. Yeah. Okay. I didn't know that I could hit the like button. Hey, I'm learning things. See that, folks? I could hit a heart there too. Oh, let's see. Wait. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, hey. Yeah. And I'm learning things. Thank you for helping me. Okay. I appreciate that there. Uh-huh. 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 Thank you. I'm not just an old man. No, I'm not, folks. I am 80 years old, but you know, my mornings begin 5, 6 a.m. in the morning, don't end till 10. I'm always thinking, trying to figure out what I'm going to come to you and talk about, okay? And, you know, it's like that thing with Diddy came up with the U.S. attorney putting the motion into the court, all right? Showed over 50 cases, all right, of people that had the Mann Act, and uh, yeah. Let's see. Be careful there. Yeah, at least I did with you. Hey, I like this here. That's cool. I didn't know that I could do that in return. Okay, God bless. See, at 80 years old, I'm still learning things. And, you know, one thing I do is I read every single night. And I read a lot of books. And I read a lot about history. I study history. That's one, probably the only course I excelled at in high school is history. Uh, and you know, I come from a small town in upstate New York called Rome, New York. And uh, you know, I never knew a thing about racial. I didn't know none of that stuff. Okay, because we weren't racist towards anybody. I mean, we played in the neighborhood with all the kids were there. Okay, black, white, green, orange, didn't make a difference. We were friends. I never thought of anything racial until I joined the Army and ended up in Augusta, Georgia, at Fort Gordon, Georgia, outside of Augusta. And that's when I really learned, and I didn't like it. Okay? Thank you, cannoli. But anyway, so I was born, I'm 100% Italian, from Calabria, and very proud I'm Italian. I'm very proud that I served our country in the United States Army, 1963 to 66, under General Westmoreland with the 25th Infantry Division, and we were the first to go into Vietnam. Uh, And then I went and got out. I took a couple jobs in the factory when I got out of prison. I'm telling you a story now. I took a couple factory jobs. I didn't like them. But then I got a job with a Prudential Insurance Company. And I really loved selling insurance. And I was really good at it. Became a member of the $1 Million Round Table. And I learned so much about people and everything. And then I ended up with my own business and in the insurance industry. And then my first indictment came out of Syracuse, New York. My insurance license was taken away from me, and I became a gangster. But I guess I was always a gangster, even when I was a kid. Okay, but you know, I really got more into it. Um, and Yeah, thank you. Who's doing that there? Who's writing here? Is Lindy here? I don't know. Thank you for asking people to hit the like button. Okay, and you know, growing up, did you go to high school with any of the Lane sisters. I believe I did. I'm gonna have to check, 'cause, uh, but the name sounds very familiar. Okay, you know, you're all probably too young to remember the DeMarco sisters. They were big singers way back in the day. Right? Well, they came from Rome, New York, and they were actually related to my mother. My mother was a DeMarco, her last name was. So that was really cool. Uh, Pat Riley comes from Rome, New York. You don't know who he was. Uh, Pat Laker, Pat Riley, the coach of, what's the name of the team in Florida? Okay, football team. I know basketball team. He was basketball. Pat Riley, right? Am I right? Tell me. Okay. Alright. Folks, I have lived many lives. And, you know, I'm astonished of the things that I've done, the people that I've met. And, you know, I believe in doing the right thing because it's the right thing to do. And I also believe in telling the truth. So when I come to you, I'm telling you the truth, and I'm giving you my viewpoints of how I see certain things. And this way, when you tell the truth, you never have to forget or try to remember what you said. And look at there's a guy does a great show. His name's Marion. I think it's Too Strong. He's got a YouTube station. He does a really great job. Okay, he takes these people that come out with lying cracks and he breaks it down. He's a brilliant young man. Uh, so if you're not following him, look for him. I think you would enjoy his. Uh, you would enjoy his show. He does a great job. And you know, then you got this guy, Murrow, whatever his name is, over in England. He's over in England, and he become very big because of Diddy. And, you know, I posted a thing. The content creators, including myself, should thank Diddy. And you know, I only got a few thousand. I don't have that many followers. I got like 11,000 or something like that there. Okay, hopefully I'll grow. And when I grow, then I can bring you better content. And what I say by that? Then I got a lot of people I want to interview. Okay, people in Hollywood that you'd be very interested in. But I don't want to bring them in with 50 people watching. You know what I mean? It wouldn't be right. Okay? You know, a lot of people would bring them in to use them to grow their channel. I'm not that guy. I don't do that. Okay? All right? Let me bring them value because they're bringing us value. And guys like, you know, George Gell, Frank Grillo, I could name 1,000 people. Oh, by the way, for those of you who don't know, the other day I was talking about the R. Kelly case, and the U.S. attorney on that was Elizabeth Geddes out of the Eastern District in New York. Guess who the U.S. attorney, the prosecutor, made was? Yes, it was Elizabeth Geddes. And folks, I gotta tell you, she's excellent. Marie Comey can't shine her shoe. Okay? Marie Comey was not that good. And it was proven on the Diddy trial. But you know what? The more I talk about her, and I got no bad feelings, no bad intent or anything against Elizabeth Geddes. You see, guys like me and the like, we know she's doing her job. Just like the FBI, the police, we never went after the police or struck them, okay, or called them names. We didn't do that. We respected them because we knew they were doing their jobs. All right? And you can't belittle somebody because they're doing their job, whether they're on the opposite side or not. Okay? So we respect them. I respect her. So I told everybody who was uh, on with me that day, you know what? I'm going to call her. And this was long, we had a long weekend. And so this morning, I'm looking at a piece of paper I had with her phone number because she went into private practice with another U.S. attorney. And I gotta be honest, I don't get nervous about things. But here I am, I'm sitting in my chair and I'm going, damn, how am I going to start this conversation? What am I going to say to her? I mean, this is a girl to put me in prison, okay? Man, I finally, boom, I dialed the number. And a recording came on and said, you want Elizabeth Geddes? Press 1. I pressed 1. And she answered the phone herself. No secretary, no nothing. So I said, Miss Geddes, I said, you're going to be a little surprised at who this is. I said, but first, before I begin to tell you who I am, I said, I want to tell you, I respect you. I respect the work that you've done, okay? And I said, you won't believe this, but this is Ori Spado. And she said, well, hello, Ori, how are you? Okay, I said, I'm great. I said, you know, I said, I've been doing a lot of reading about you. I spoke about you on my Clubhouse channel. I said, you know, I'd love to interview somebody on my channel. And I said, would you consider it? She said, you know what? She says, I would. She said, I'm getting ready for a trial right now. She said, but email me and let's see if we could arrange it. She's very nice, okay? I tried to answer some questions about the R. Kelly case compared to Diddy case. I can be honest. She says, you know, those are things that I really can't discuss. I said, I respect that. I understand. Okay? All right? Johnny Frado. Yeah, I knew Johnny Frado. Yeah. You know Johnny Frado, Sparrow? Johnny Frado. Yeah, I think Johnny finally, things caught up with Johnny here in California, and I heard that he moved to Florida someplace. Uh, and he was trying to jump on Donald Trump's bandwagon, but it didn't happen. So I don't know what Johnny Prado is doing now, but I had some dealings with him. And that's it with Johnny Prado. Okay? Hi, Prince. How are you, buddy? Jen said hi. Tell Jen I said hi. Okay? Folks, I really enjoy coming here, you know, with all my heart. You know, I'm 80 years old. I came out of prison with $150 in my name, folks. That's what was left of my commissary. That's what I had. And I had to rebuild my life. Thank God I did my military time, and, you know, I am disabled as a result of some things. So I do get a check, and that's how I'm able to pay my rent and, you know, a couple of things. So, you know, I told the people the other day, you know, my mother always said, save your money, save your money. You always got to put a little what you want, put away, and save your money. Okay? All right? And I didn't. I didn't. My brother did. Both my brothers did. All right? Not me. Because I had the ability to make money, and I thought it would never end. And maybe some of you thought the same thing, been there. You know what I mean? So, trust me, it comes to an end. It came to an abrupt end when I got indicted on the Colombo crime family indictment. Ended up doing 5 years in prison. And now, here I am at 80 years old. Mom, guess what? I'm more thrifty now, okay? I don't spend money like I used to. My mother would be proud of me, okay? Because I'm trying to save. When you're making a little money at all, you gotta save. We done, our economy is the worst I've ever seen in my 80 years in life, right? And Donald Trump's got to do something quickly. He's got to do something quickly because the midterms are going to determine what Donald Trump can do for the next 2 years. And if the Republicans don't win, his hands are going to be tied. He's not going to be able to get nothing through. So, and the economy, in my opinion, is the biggest factor. You know, I had an argument with a dear friend of mine. She's a little older than I. Used to live here in Beverly Hills. She lives in Boca Raton now. She did very well in her life financially, and she's able to live off dividends and money she had in the stock market and so forth, okay? Like normal citizen, which we do. But, you know, she really loves Donald Trump. We had an argument. I said, it's not up to Donald Trump. It's not up to Putin. It's not up to Zelensky to stop the wars. She said, wait a minute. I said, it's up to the money people who are earning money, making big money off the war. Those are the people who want the war because they make the tanks, they make the rifles, they make everything that you need to fight a war. Okay? And guess what? They sell to both sides. So they don't care who wins, who loses, because they're selling to both sides. And where are they getting the money from? Good old United States. Look it up, folks. It's there. Yeah. You know, you go back to the Napoleonic War. Do you know who financed that war? The Rothschild family. You don't hear much about the Rothschild family. One of the wealthiest one of the wealthiest families in the world. They don't even know how many billions that they have. That's way up there. They financed the war. Both sides. And made a lot of money. So, you know, when you really think about these things, okay? And look at, the closer they get to Putin, the more he bombs Ukraine. You think you might have him, and then boom, he sends another bomb over. Putin's a very smart guy. He's a tough guy. And he is probably the wealthiest guy in the world. Even Elon Musk says that. Elon Musk said Putin's got more money than him. So folks, look at it. I want to thank you for taking the time, coming here and listening to me a little bit. I want to thank those who gave me, hit that thanks button. You helped me out. Okay, I really appreciate it. Okay, so folks, it's almost 5 o'clock here. I'm gonna get my pajamas on because I do watch a little television. I do go to bed early because I wake up real early. And you know what? I'm gonna come back and see you tomorrow. Tim, you just asked the question there. Um, did you ever be involved in the mafia? I told you. I was indicted on a Colombo crime family indictment, 2008. Spent 5 years in prison. It's all in my book, The Accidental Gangster. It's available on Amazon, Barnes& and Noble, or any place you can buy a fine book. You can find it. All right, and autographed copies are available on my website, which is in my profile here. So, I bet a lot of you never went to my profile or my website. You should go visit my website because there's a lot of interesting things there that other people have written about me. I think you'll enjoy it, give you a better understanding who I am, where I come from, okay? And so, folks, I'm going to say good night to you. God bless you all. As usual, all my love to every one of you. Thank you so much. Have a good evening, everybody. Be safe.